Okay. Good evening, buenas. We are down here at the multi-purpose center, and lagi pa ako minigi multi-purpose center no para tufong este baloto. Precinct 3 este may between Corina Magofnia dan si Grace Biage, no? Grace Pito. Okay, so right now they're sorting out the early votes for Olia, and then they're gonna in maybe less than an hour galo na oras ang matufong sa pitatungo hansi po representa precinct 3 sige view pago sa sige muna man ma-sort out. Sa man masusort out siya balutog Yarpan para pago na dieste pago na dia October dia 16 na boto sa munasan early votes matufong dan munasan early votes siyempre malaknos doon na impormasyon para tududusit bini. Now, importante na eleksyon pago panelos sa sige para dinitinina hawzi po sinili na siza tebano itasangan pago na sabalo ezo na siza bumakan ay hadingwit si Congressman Ivan Blanco. Kasi sige ezo pago na sige dos na Caballero Flores dosis tinapalaan lo uno ha para panganag ni pues no Congressman no kwanto itudo votes gini pa uwi Yarpan I mean registered vote 3,004 okay pues sige iuno na ginin grupo ni Democratic Party si Vice Chair pues Congressman Daniel Kiruma apa sinintini grupo
well actually
balik sinintini
grupo Corina gininisin din
sinintini tauto luluk na
sentimento ni tauto di komunidad especialmente di precinct 3 ang malago na manalagaskas yung funksyon ko din isip ko din
balik seperti tatungo sinya antes dia orang antes dia las 12 pago antes dia OA gadso para tago
ano nakarasate kasi tatungo
so kaya ingin GOP Glena seperti tagin tusil okay lo apa na ata
bulan sakit dosa na namin garapan dan uliaya dari ano klaim na turnout bulan takpata ang na mas sakit kasi pa
Glena okay alright thank you na Congressman tagin tusil okay si luta gila na nota si Glenda Glena apa isinintini grupo di base no Glena apa sa sinti muli
isinintini pago na diyan no distrikato tuko ni isanya campaign kulangan no committee ni partida no positive todo do money campaign very energized
pausa ni para at dan para na disgusto no Smalik si dos esti Flores bonito esti dos Flores de malalag mo na
no so
kusa mauli isinintini grupo
Ingan.
whatever the outcome, sampai no nigit sampai para sampai kumuano na oportunidad para balis i precinct 3 no. Siya man ajuda pa ulo yung totoo ta. Terus masih positif tanalum si Glenna dengan sige mo honesty matupang terus masih para tugas sambil sige manggayam gini terus masih tanah. Alright, sige isinintin grupo na Karina dan isinintin grupo na Grace. Lalu ini multi-purpose center no tutanteste na sige mo na tapay sense siya ilan na nota naman adinganin. Gaya gini siya, diga si Elita, si Tomas, ini ni KUAM waktu, buam, jadi siya waktu siya voices, gini kasini, tulili KSPN, no mag-representa Tribune dan Marianas Variety, manggaya gini. So sige, masusesi ni Paulo, dinigi programan Marianas sa Gupa, no sadik simpiste, temana ililing niya si Omar Congressman Daniel Kidua, siya antes dia o Igazo, Paulo na puingi, siya no punasan. So nangga hindi apa masusesi ko ni, esta sige na tufong baloto. Para ato siya pagumanhahalom, binigi programan Marianas sa Gupa, no gumaygiso pago binigi Pedro P. Tenorio, multi-purpose center. Pedro P. Tenorio agas gobyerno, multi-purpose center. Sige na lugar na matutufong baloto siya para istinasiza. Yung pagong join stage of the live coverage ni Marianas sa Gupa, no sige nasiza bumakante na yung dimalas da dingwit si former o si Congressman Ivan Blanco. Dosis din na Flores ma-office in Maisa siya. Restay baloto man halom, basta manansan, pag-usasangan na manansan, matufong early votes para multi-purpose sana. Usis na pago ma-sort out, i-oliay zan garapan, nige sigun ginin sa Kayla. Ito si Kayla, inuwi po ako na bumanin niya election commission binigi sangkatan na Islas Marianas. Yung guwahan no Wag gini comment gini nagatalifan. Comment. Okay, buenas para Hogo Mike. Sinus Masi na yung follow este. Ang gwa question gini maniga presente. Nauluma gini gi-chat. Gini telephone 287-4536. Okay nga mo siya tanawlon gini. Lang gingwahan no interest minzo man ika gi YouTube mga man malefa na subscribe, hit the notification button. Guess to si Welo team na sangonyo na para lang nus numero. Niya na ano kay numero gi screen 287-4536. Laging wahan malago o maulom pagawa. Sinya agang magi. Sa sige masusesidi sa tutago ko sa matutun matufong. Azi pada ini presenta yung siza sizes din na siza. Para amdo ano na iti depende sa precinct 3 donkulis na registered voters. Okay, po sa talo nigi masusesidi pa ako na Sabalo. It's Saturday kan? Kana no ibu estilo pa kana pudong gini ki Saturday. Usually Tuesday na election. Ati man maktu totoy cable. Wala no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I see Kumasa na totoy kayo yan. Lo. Sinya later on manolong siya lo. At least gaygi Mariana sa lupa gini. Pintus ihila na notice ti pinut sumuro. Siya sige na tanahuhuzong para siya na manautay maniiko gini nihila na nata. Alright, si Zeus Mase talo para puro sa zoy maniga gini. Mariana Sagupa YouTube live este. Mariana Sagupa Facebook. Rico problem 100.3%. No Marico Cortez para tudo sa to siya manggayig niya social media. Tapos di social media mas tagfe na. Tibulalan na Munirias. No, sige pa ako masusesili winigi multi-purpose center. Pedro P. Tenorio, multi-purpose center. Matutufong ista. Lagi tiyo tsago para ukinat guys timona na bandera ko banderan Democratic Party or bandera GOP. Wahay na kumikilig niya. Naging manggana si Corina. Ilota show. Sige mo na siyempre no i-investigasyon i-gobyerno. Sige mo na no mas no paha. I-presente. Bulas siya no mansusuda. Ganun i-komiten JGO. Pues naging humalom si Corina siya mas umuha mas no sinya no tunga pa pamasasili lo waklan nun niya siya sa itaw-taw ginilofi sininto mag-iikungok dinig nagaginaw na no kandidato lofi para GOP manakikifangga na po para umadiskata umatsaba niya yun dito Kurentin ST investigation siya tayo na umuzong yan o inwa i-surface na analysis presente pamala tanawalon si Ambrose
hey, how you doing?
Let's bring in Ambrose
Yes, sir.
Great, Ambrose. We are live here at the Multi-Purpose Center. What is your sentiment on who will be the next person to sit on that? When our Congressman Ivan Blanco left, who do you think's gonna take this seat in your feelings this evening?
Well, I think the people are really ready for
Can you hear
change.
me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Tess, can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Can you hear me? You can hear me. Okay. All right.
Yes,
I think I think the
yes, I can hear you.
okay. The people are really ready for change. I think this election should go to Karina. The people are tired of voting the same way, expecting a different result. And I think the events that's been going on with the Republicans is showing the people that they need to change directions. Uh, in fact, I'm looking forward to hopefully to be a landslide for her and not just a win. I hope the people will send a message that they are ready for change, not only in this election, but in the upcoming general election. This will give us a good idea as to what the people are
I
thinking.
think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
What
was
does that mean? What is?
I think this election will give us an idea of what to expect in 2022 because a lot of things have come to light since the previous election regarding the Republicans in general. And I'm sure the people are tired of voting for the same Republicans and expecting a different result. Now they see that they're not going to get a different result. Uh, we are still being gaslighted on ideas and things. The governor is shouting he needs 14 million when IPI owes us close to 100 million, and he won't try and collect a penny. So the people, I'm sure, from what I've been seeing from the sidelines and hearing over the coconut wire, is that people are ready for change, and I do expect Karina to win. I would like to give a shout out to her for all her efforts, and to Lou and Nola and the whole crew that have been pushing to help her to get elected.
Okay. Let me just interject for those who have just joined us this evening. This is a special edition of Mariana's talk show, special election coverage, right here at the Pedro P. Tenorio Multi-Purpose Center. And the ballots have already been sorted out. Uh, Early votes have been counted already. They are sorting out the votes from Garapan now. And maybe, just maybe in less than an hour, they'll start counting. So that's where we are. And we have our analyst here, Mr. Ambrose Bennett.
I wish
Taking,
I would. Did you conduct any kind of an exit poll for the voting to give us an idea on the exit polling?
uh, no, we don't have that information available at this time. But let me ask Peter. Peter. Okay, I just missed Peter. But that's a very good question, Ambrose. I don't have that information readily available now,
Okay.
but
What is the size of the precinct?
we're talking about, Danny, the total number of registered voters is 3,004.
Oh, so it's 3,004. Okay.
I'm getting
Is
that
that-
information from the party official here.
Is that our biggest precinct?
Yeah, that's precinct 3.
Precinct 3 is
It
one.
is our big.
Precinct 1, I think, is the largest,
Okay.
but not very close behind, I think. We'll just get that information. But the question that I posed to you is that what does it mean if Corina wins? That's the question.
Okay. What?
Does that mean there's gonna be a process that's gonna take place with the current investigation for the governor? What does it mean?
Well, I think what it means really is not so much what will happen tomorrow or next week, but what will happen down the line. I think it will send a signal for the next election. There's really about a year left on her term. It won't affect the JGO investigation at all because they were already functioning without Ivan even being there. So it won't affect the outcome of that or interfere with that. The big thing is we need to see what kind of message the voters are going to send, because what we're looking for and hoping for is for the Democrats to get a large vote, an overwhelming vote, which will truly be a signal for the Democratic Party that the people are changing directions. And ever since I started writing in the newspaper, I was always saying one people, one direction. And this is truly one of those cases where hopefully Precinct 3 will be mostly one people headed in the same direction to change the dynamics of our legislature. It would also mean that if she wins in this election, that she will be virtually a shoo-in in the next general election when she runs again, because she will only be in office for a year, and the dynamics won't have time to change her status with the people, I don't think. So it really means three years for her if she wins this election.
Okay, now on the flip side, what does it mean if Grace Tito wins the election?
Well, if Grace wins, what it means is that the Republican base is very strong, and they've had 20 years to build their base. We have to understand that all of the commissioners, all of our boards, all of these entities, secretaries, they are controlled by Republicans, and they have families. So they have an extremely large base. That's why I'm saying this election is going to put it to the test as to what the people are thinking. If it's a close race, and regardless of who wins, and it's a very close race, that means the Democrats have a lot of work to do in that precinct, especially. But it shouldn't be a close race, given what has happened. But like I said, the Republicans have a very large and strong base, and sometimes the base does not want to change, even when it's obvious they need to change. Like we're seeing in the U.S. with the conservatives that are still behind Trump, regardless. And even if you want to run for office, you need Trump's blessing. So we're going to see the Republican Party is really on trial here. It's not just Grace and the Democratic Party.
Uh, Very interesting analysis there, Ambrose. We're talking about two very qualified individual. One is an accountant, and the other one is a counselor. Uh,
Right.
you know, so the people in precinct three will be represent represented very well, regardless of who wins. Now, that's the other part of it. The other part is that the first question that I ask you, what does it mean to the administration if one wins over the other? And
Right.
what does it mean in 2 years from now for the gubernatorial? So uh, for those people who are not uh, grounded in the political uh, climate that most of us are experiencing, uh,
Right.
the outcome of this election is you know uh, positive on either way. Do you agree
And
on that statement?
what- you make a very good point. One of the biggest problems with our voting and with our citizenship is that many of the people are not informed voters, and that has been a problem. I give you an example. To reach our voting audience, a majority, you need to reach at least 15,000 people. The newspapers, they only publish 3,000 copies. And I'm sure there's not 10,000 people reading the newspapers online. Uh, the TV only gives you a 30-minute clip 3 times a week. One of the problems in the CNMI is we don't have any watchdog agencies to educate the people on a daily basis about what's going on. And I'm afraid that a lot of the votes may be just followers, people following one party or the other. And I'm not going to say more Democrats or more Republicans, but I do believe that a large sum of the votes will be people who are just following and not really informed, or maybe even voting what someone they've talked to about, but they really don't know the issues. So we need to ramp up our efforts to educate voters. That's why I'm always using the phrase when you're reading my article to
Yeah.
tell a friend to tell another friend. Are you there?
Mhm. That gives me what do you call this? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me,
Yes, yes.
Ambrose?
Yes. Yes, I
What
can
do you
hear
call
you.
this? All right, Franklin Mundo. Thank you for your comment this evening. We are having this special special show on this evening, and we have our Rose Bennett, who's contributing analysis. What does it mean if one over the other wins the election? So that's where we at now. For those of you who are just joining us again, we're live here at the Multi-Purpose Center Memorial, and so far the early votes has been counted. They are going to the parapet and ODI now, right there. They're
We have any
reconciliating
results?
the votes already, and
Any
right
results?
there on the board election. Not yet. Not yet. There's no result yet. So they're gonna be announcing it soon. They're gonna be announcing it soon. But is people like these two individuals qualified to run for office and have a different perspective for the next 2 years in 2022, right?
Right.
2022.
Both of I believe both of them are well qualified. This election it with both of them being so well qualified, election is going to be more about the politics of the person that's running, because it has been the politics that's been put on trial for the last year or so with the governor. And
And-
politics, it's not going to be so much of personal as it is their politics.
And Ambrose, not just the things that's going on with the investigation. There's other
Right.
matters. There's other matters that needs to be addressed. And here's one that we discussed this morning on the show.
Okay.
Is the Imperial Pacific. We need to start thinking: what if this guy doesn't pay at all? What if we dry up the federal funds? Where are we gonna get our money? You see what I'm saying? We got a lot of people. We have over 50,000 people here. How are you gonna provide that employment? So we need people in the legislature who can articulate vision, how to create laws that would generate revenue. You see what I'm saying? It's not just about the investigation. That's good because that's going on right now, and we cannot stop that. But we
That's
need
why we
who
need to,
has the vision.
and that's why I'm saying we need to stop
Yeah, go ahead.
looking down. We need to stop going down the gambling rabbit hole and start trying to expand our economic base from gambling. Furthermore, we need to shore up our economic base by doing things like getting investors for La Fiesta, where we're paying the people are paying rent on La Fiesta's lease every year, and we're not doing anything with La Fiesta. The Republicans not even trying to do anything with La Fiesta, and it just goes on and on. And now the Marianas Resort is following in the same place with La Fiesta. Marianas Resort been vacant for going on 2 years now. They haven't even put out an offer, a RFP for a bid on the Marianas Resort. They're not even trying to take us ahead and find new resources. They say they want new resources, but their actions don't prove it. Because if they wanted new resources, they'd be trying to lease the Marianas Resort. It doesn't cost a lot of money to put advertisement in the newspaper for the Marianas Resort. So it's not like they're hampered from doing it. The problem is they don't want to do it. So those are just two great examples of how we can start assuring up and expanding our economic base by doing something with La Fiesta and the Marianas Resort. Both of
Let me
those
just
will.
interrupt
Mhm.
Okay, there's a message here about how many absentee anticipated. I don't have the information on that yet for that
Right.
viewer on Maraming Tagupa, but sa pita na husong yan no, Mr. Ross, yung ginong kagagawa, umiikong ka, lo esta mo nazan matufong early votes, absentee votes. Sige, ilinya si Ross. Kusok ke, sabi tatsulin on information. Nandiyan numuzong si Kayla. Okay, kusa nagyan no para talang nos pago na sabalo, salo para imaneku gini. No tapraktika ihila na nata gini para ta na kan menungo. Imaneku na manaw ta gini islata dan ados ti manggay ututano. Sige masusesidi pa ako. Matutufong baluto neste special na eleksyon between Corina and si Grace. Kumagi si Ambrose gini na sumachay min lokwe para ato siya man fino English. Lo inigi masusesidi pa ako. matutupong so siyempre no yung tsogo tatuo hazi po representa na sida bumakanti ginin as former Hagas Congresos Ivan Blanco. Siyempre tatuo yung tsogo hazi po ni representa sa pinasensya yun para manilitan maniko si Mike Maputi. Nutaza lay Mike snack gini como mago po panilima. We don't have any snack. I don't know they
Update no in todo.
absentee. Well, absentee.
Registered voter.
3,400. Okay.
3,000 update. 3,613.
Okay. So there's a new update. 3,613. Itodo
All
registered voter. Okay. 3,613. We're gonna get the information on how many absentee we're waiting. Again, question umuzong sa Ross. Meku sama 47 na sila ita. Tapos enjoy di po saga ganaw gi hotel manabubuka. You know those guys are being quarantined. I heard that Congressman Lizama is now being quarantined. He just got back from vacation.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So he's in quarantine. I hope that he's watching our show this evening. And thank you para si Congressman Lizama. The boys cleared Kahit Street in Kankman. That area.
Right on.
Yeah. So going back to our
and we need him in Cagman. And I hope he will keep working for us in Cagman. I was running the numbers because
all right.
The number you gave me about
we have something from Kayla. Good. The result's not out yet, huh? Oh. Okay. Okay, está man masililing matutupong reconciliation. Okay.
I did the numbers on the number of voters, and it seems like Precinct 3 has around 18.4% of the total votes in the CNMI. So 18%, that's almost 20% of the total votes. So it's a very large vote. That's why I'm saying that this vote will send us a very good signal on the politics of the voters and where they're headed for the next election.
It's something that would guide the candidates for the next election.
Well, it definitely sets a trend.
Yeah, it sets
because
a trend.
because it's around 20%. If it was like 5 or 6, under 10%, then we couldn't call it a trend. But with 18.4% of the voters, we can look at it as being a voting trend that should carry on into the next election.
Okay, let me just invite our viewers. If they have a question, they can call Dex here at right on their screen. We can pick it up right on the screen. Here's something from Mike. Mike.
All right, Mike.
Buenas. All right. So we can pick up the comments right here on right on our screen here. So
all right.
For those of you who are listening, watching, okay, we have a caller here from Rhoda. Si Guelo Tim. Go ahead, Guelo Tim.
Hey, Lai. Hello. Good evening, Glenn.
Yeah, good evening. We are here covering the special election. Any question? Okay. Malika,
mulai manggagam gini na voice call si Jasmine Roland dan si Kalgunay. So, kilamasan na kudu no question na president sa baru ko na. Esta mana ulo, lopat na ulo. Kung sila na pipitinan na halis 29 to the voice election pero ba tinay na dos na kandidat no blessing sa parewa no qualify ka kay
Ah,
para kaya na
aha.
da ibang tota pauli ni silo hati na gini gila masa no intanangga da hati na kumana kita pero suli cepat sada.
Okay, nanggal natutua no belutim strategi waktu si Kayla na api paparazzi i-fishing garapan. Sige, waktu estamos nonton no fishing D2 está ma-reconcile zo. Okay, está ma-reconcile i-fishing D2. Siyempre manoy waktu i-board. Sa i-board, siyempre no tumufong zo. Falsa, di manlilizo, makina gini no. Pero ba, count, hand count ta este. Hand count. Yes, trivia. Teman-teman dito sa bugo. No, sige sa naman natin ni fishing 2D.
Alright. So, dan imposible la muna para na po ni counting po. Dito mo ko binahan mo
No, para i-voice kino ni Maniklo, saludo dan para si Jasmine. How do you say manggayke?
Okay niya, gini si Jasmine dan si ako rin na ipagayam kay live gini si YouTube.
Alright. Okay.
YouTube mo istinos ko malago mabatilas comment.
Ya, malago siya tanaw nga pa guga na pentusa.
Ay, no, upload na no what niya da maeko i mo presentation
Esta, si Jesus mo say gano, velutim. The
para i-post na Palawan na yun na lalaki para i-Congress.
esta si Jesus mo say, okay? Velutim zo kini na luta, maniga loki di YouTube. So, esta munonton i-fishing 2B matufong. Sige, pagod na kumaigi ko na para matufong kanais ti, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Pagkata na, sige, i-representative Democratic Party, Congressman Daniel Kirugwa, Vice President ng party, Ambrose Cisco. Then,
Right. Tell Danny I said hello.
I can hear you, Ambrose.
he's here, right here. And
Shout out to you, Danny.
Yeah.
you gonna stick around for the final counting, Ambrose? You have anything to add on?
No, I'm here to try and answer any questions if people are curious. But it's very, very, very simple. What we're looking for.
Okay, that's very good. Let's start to talk about the next phase in this election. You heard about the possibility of the lieutenant governor running. You heard about that, right?
Yes, and that's what I mean by the politics is going to drive this election, not so much the credentials of the two people running. And with the lieutenant governor saying he's going to run, it's telling us that the Republican Party is getting prepared in case something happens with the governor, with the impeachment or whether it be the impeachment of the FBI. I want to remind people about the FBI, not saying that you can put this in stone, but ordinarily the FBI don't get involved until local and state issues have been resolved. We've seen this, African Americans have seen this a lot when civil rights cases have to take precedence over these not guilty verdicts, when blacks are mistreated and even beaten and sometimes killed. And the FBI will wait until the local jurisdictions are finished before they make a move, out of respect, probably. And I'm pretty sure the FBI will probably be doing the same thing with this investigation of the governor. But as far as the lieutenant governor running, that's why he made it a tentative announcement, because it's probably depending on what's going to happen with the governor.
Do you expect to see the announcement this week or next week? Of course, after this special election result, do you expect them to make an announcement? Because we heard it from the grapevine that they're
Well,
putting their team together, but we haven't heard any official announcement. The
and
only
that's why
official
I'm saying,
announcement is the current incumbent, the current governor.
and that's why I'm saying that you probably won't hear that announcement unless something happens with the governor. And that's depending on the outcome of this hearings by the JGO. Regardless of what happens with our legislature, once that is finished, then we can look for the FBI to make their move. I'm pretty sure they've had enough time, and they're just waiting, because it wouldn't make sense for the governor to be on trial in two places at the same time with this JGO hearings. So don't
Okay.
expect to hear from the lieutenant governor until something is finalized with the governor.
I just got a message here.
Okay.
The lieutenant governor showed up at the Corina camp today, so that's
Exactly.
something for Marana Sagupa, for those who are watching. So that shows the indication of the seriousness of this group, the current incumbent. People are distancing themselves. We see that directly from the lieutenant governor today. So what does that tell you?
Exactly. It tells me that he's doing what he should be doing if the governor is not going to get reelected. I appreciate him supporting a Democrat, but I don't want voters to get confused, because this is really about the overall politics of the city of Maya. Do the people want to go Republican, or do they want to go Democrat? And that's really at the root of the whole issue. And this election is going to tell us what the people are thinking.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned in our show that you want our people to take the chance. Can you elaborate on that? Take a chance to vote Democrat. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, not only take a chance, I think the Republicans need to be taught a lesson. And we can do both by voting Democrat. The Democrats will have competent people running just as competent as Republicans, like they have in the past sometimes. But Republicans have been so deeply rooted with their control of voters that no one else has been given a chance. And that's what I mean. They need to give the Democrats a chance to give us a new direction, to see if they can fix some of the things that the Republicans have messed up. There's been a history on the mainland of the Republicans always creating deficits and taking us to war, and then Democrats have to come behind them to straighten it up and clean up behind them, just like the war in Afghanistan. It took a Democrat to end it. The Republicans have played around with it for 20 years. So we have to look at the concept of the party, and not just so much as the individual now. And we need to be voting party line rather than on individuals. That's all I'm saying. If the situation was reversed, I would be rooting or saying that we should vote Republicans, but it's not. And that's why I'm saying that the people, if they truly want to change, they would be voting for a Democrat.
Okay, we're a little bit we're having a little problem with the internet connection here. So if
Yeah, I
I
saw you
lose
disappear. I lost
so
you.
this is only momentarily, but hopefully this can
Okay.
be restored. Meanwhile, we're waiting for Mr. Joe Kiyoshi to contribute from Tinian. What do they think
Okay.
of the special election?
Okay.
So we hope that he can chime in. We already have Mr. Tim Sanicolas from Rhoda uh, chiming in on this special edition of Marana Sagupa covering the special election right here at the Multi-Purpose Center, the
Yeah.
Pedro Memorial. And again, between the two beautiful flowers, maybe we can say that.
Yeah.
One and the other one is Grace. So we'll see what the people wants in precinct 3. We're gonna find out tonight. Who do they want to represent them in the seat that was vacated by the late Ivan Blanco? So that is the situation we're facing this evening. We saw the group from precinct 3B, Garapan. They just completed
Yeah.
the reconciliation. Okay, wait, hold on. We got, I think we have Mr. Kiyoshi. Mr. Kiyoshi. Buenas, Mr. Kiyoshi.
Yeah, Glenn.
Thank you for calling. You want to share your thoughts on your feelings this evening? Who will come ahead in this special election?
Yeah, Glenn, good evening. Mr. Ambrose, good evening.
Good morning. Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you.
I've been a Republican for all my entire life, and now I am Democrat. And I am hoping that the people of Precinct 3 will make a sound and honest decision. And
Turn your radio off.
Yeah, turn your background radio off, Joe.
it is a very surprise if Sablan wins, because the people of Saipan, I believe, will make a change in the dynamic of the Republican taking control for so many years. I believe that you are right, Mr. Bennett. I believe that the Democrats will fix our economy. I believe that the Democrats will make sound, good decisions in our Sinamay government.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
It's been a while Republican to control of the cinema economy, and our biggest obstacle is the government has become too big. The government has become an employment agency that I believe that should not have become an employment agency. But you know, every year we see FTEs being afforded to each island, and that's the winning formula. But as we see go down, I don't think that the government can sustain that anymore. ARPA funds should have been used to fix our infrastructures. And I believe that if ARPA funding is gone, I believe the problem that the government has created is gonna be a very, very nasty situation because in Tinian, the mayor's office has hired 50 people. I am not against hiring, but believe me, once the pop-up is gone, what's going to happen to these individuals?
Well, that is
point
one of
here,
the
Joe.
right, and that is
On the other
yeah,
side,
Joe,
there's always a
right, and that's a good point he's making. Is that they always are hiring a lot of people, and these people who get these jobs, they should stop giving their political loyalty to them just because they got a job, because they are being selfish, not thinking about the Commonwealth. If we change the leadership in the Commonwealth, the only people who will lose their job will be the secretaries. So people shouldn't be afraid to vote Democrat thinking they might lose their job, because they won't. We can't replace all of those people given our situation in the CNMI. Only people who are in jeopardy of losing their jobs are secretaries. The other point I want to make is when he said that he was a Republican for his entire life, and now he's changing. And that is another trend that we're seeing on the mainland that should be happening here. Republicans jump ship by the thousands after January 6th insurrection. And after what's come out with the JGO, Republicans should be jumping ship too. Even if they don't want to become a Democrat, they should declare themselves independent of the Republican Party, because to do nothing about what they've done to our economy is really bad. There's a saying that the only thing it takes for evil to prevail is for good men and women to do nothing. And for people to do nothing about the Republicans, the way they've done the CNMI, and not even trying. I think we're off the show. Hold on.
one year or 2 years, because they
Yeah, I'm back.
so
I'm here.
desperately need. But Ambrose is correct too. That you will be your loyalty would be with them. So that's the other side of the story here. Ambrose, you still there? Okay,
Yeah,
we
I'm
lost
still
you,
here.
Ambrose.
Yeah, Glenn?
No, I'm
Yes,
still here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. In Joe, you're correct. Some people need temporary jobs,
Hello?
but the problem that
Are you watching me? I'm on Mara's show.
happened in Tinian
Okay,
is
bye-bye.
people that had jobs left the private job, went to the of the private company investing in you thousands of dollars, and they left the jobs to go for a 1-year opportunity. I mean, that's the decision. But we are creating a situation here in trying to find our people jobs in the private sector, and it shows that hiring locals in the private sector is not how do I say that, sustainable, because we invest in our locals, and our locals just go to the government. I believe that there should be more thorough place to in our political FTEs.
Yeah, go ahead. We're still with you.
Yeah, and again, that's the biggest obstacle here is Jones opened up in Tinian and hired hiring locals, but he hired a cook, and the cook left, and Jones was scrambling to find a cook because the cook left to go back to the mayor's office. So we are shouting about private sector hiring locals. Here we are on the other side of the government trying to hire locals in the private sector, taking them out of the private sector and going to the government. And yes, you are truly right. It is a temporary job. But so how do we sit down with the private sector and say, okay, you need to hire local employees? But when election year comes up, I'm sorry, Mr.
Well, one of the things that okay, to answer your question is, one of the things that I'm going to be talking about in the workforce transition plan when the legislature is ready is a system, what we call affirmative action. Whereas a local person should not be applying for a job at the same time a CW is applying for that same job. If we're doing that, then something is wrong because the locals should be prioritized. One of the problems with the private sector is they actually prefer CWs because they can more or less, how I might say, pop their whip with CWs and get away with it, whereas whereas locals are not going to stand for some of the harsh treatments that they get from employers. Some of these employers don't want to actually hire locals because locals are aware of their rights, and they will resist when an employer is not conducting themselves properly compared to a CW who would just take it and keep going. I've heard about this kind of behavior with some of the businesses here in the CNMI. But if we actually apply a workforce transition plan, all of that kind of stuff will come to an end because we will have an affirmative action program that actually mandates locals being prioritized for hiring over locals, over CWs. So we need to work on a systemic plan to address that issue that he's talking about. And I'm hopeful the legislature will give me the opportunity to present it. I've been trying to present it for 20 years, so hopefully I can get it over.
Okay, all right. Anything else?
Yes. Mr. Bennett, I believe that your idea and your plan, I believe that the federal government, because the federal government has been waiting for the CNMI government to permit a workforce investment plan. How do we replace? Because we can't replace OCW position.
Right, and that's right. You're right. We cannot replace all the CWs, and the workforce transition plan that I'm talking about is not designed to replace the CWs, but to transition CWs into newer jobs as they develop and to prioritize the local people. I'm sure that when 2029 gets here, we can justify keeping all the CWs that are here. But if we don't demonstrate to the federal government that we have a systemic plan, and what I mean by systemic is a system-wide plan for transitioning that is led by one entity that for all of the CNMI. Presently, PSS is doing their thing, the chamber is doing theirs, NMTI is doing their thing, but there's no consolidated effort under one umbrella. And that is what we need to deal with the workforce transition and to keep so many of our youth from leaving. We have a migration pattern that nobody's paying attention to. And we're losing a lot of our youth time they get out of high school because there's nothing here for them. But if they are guaranteed a job and they've been training for that job for 2 years, more than likely they will remain here because they have a life and a career here. But if we don't set the infrastructure in for that to happen, then it's not going to happen. Nobody's paying attention to our settlement patterns in the CNMI.
Okay, hold on for a sec, Joe. Ambrose, let me pan.
Okay.
I think we're just about ready to count or announce.
All right.
Stand by for that. Okay, no. They put the votes or the ballots in the box. Okay, so they're doing it by batch. So they're doing it by batch. Sorry for that interruption.
They're not announcing the.
Not yet.
They won't give you a tally on each batch.
They just every time they finish the batch, they put it on the site. So I think they're gonna count it very soon. They're gonna count the votes very soon. Okay, Joe. Anything else?
So yes, like Glenn and that I believe that investing in our people, and I also believe that PSS should change their revolution on teaching our kids, because I noticed that there's no home economics in the high school anymore. I noticed that there's no hands-on, there's no how do I say this? Mechanics, woodworking, sewing, all these life skills that we need to teach our kids. My mom graduated, and they said that I did not know any of life skills during the high schools. During my time, I have home economics, woodworking, small engine repair. I was so fortunate that mom and I had those skills. I noticed that there's no electives.
Yes. And you're right.
Should really change our, like you said, Mr. Bennett, either to the military or go to college, and what to do with our kids that are left behind.
And see, that's why I'm pushing the workforce transition plan, because the whole CNMI becomes a vocational center. In every job that a CW is in, a student will be training to learn that job. Once that student graduates, they will actually take that CW's place. That CW doesn't have to leave the CNMI. They can still look for employment elsewhere because new jobs are going to be opening up. But they will have to apply for a CW job. And we need to segregate what can be a local job and what can be a CW job. And that will help us also in the future. Vocational education is a major thing in the States. In fact, I graduated from high school. I majored in electricity. I took electricity for 2 years. I was an apprentice electrician. I learned how to wire a house fully electric. All I had to do really was take the journeyman test, and I could have been a journeyman electrician coming out of high school in the States, because our school was an academic/vocational school where they taught electronics, printing, and other things. And as far as he mentioned something about we don't teach economics, I actually wrote an economics workbook for our students at the high school level, because we don't have economics in our curriculum as far as actually teaching it. They talk about it, but we don't actually teach economics in our schools or in the CNMI. one of our lowest grades in the standardized testing is on economics. Some kids can't even define economics. And I think that is one of the things we need to work with. It will help the public school system. Also, we can reintroduce economics to the curriculum.
Okay, all right. Does that answer your question, Joe?
Yeah, last question. And as we know that the gas is going up, I think the government should start looking for alternative energy. And also another issue is we need to start investing in our local people. But gas is going up, so we need to start looking at alternative energy. I think it's affordable for the Sinamite, and I believe that the federal government will definitely help us finding a solution to alternative energy. The gas in the
And you're right. You're right about the need. He's right about the need for.
Let's move forward with the JGO, move forward with the impeachment, and control the rockaway spending by our own governor.
Wala si Zeus Masi na izo mo no contribution mo pag na special no edition Mariana Sagupa no live coverage the election si Zeus Masi izo.
Right.
Oh, sa next Saturday. Esta. Okay. All right. Okay, so that was Tinian's Joe Kiyoshi.
Yeah. And I wanted to tell Joe one thing about these gas prices. The gas prices here are going to continue to be the way they are until we get an independent line in here. One on Tinian Road and Saipan. The problem is we don't have the numbers to support an independent gas station moving in. It is the independent gas stations in America who drive the prices of gas because they are always the lowest. So competition is what is needed really to keep our gas prices low, but we don't have the numbers, and we're just going to have to suffer through it until we have the numbers. It may be another 15 years before we can actually have an independent move in and start doing something to push the gas prices down, because with only two owners of all the gas stations, we're going to see them doing the same thing over and over. One raises it by 10 cents today, and then next week the other one raises theirs by 10. And they're not plotting with us. They're just really just doing business. And we are just caught in the middle of it.
Okay. Here's another for Joe Kiyoshi in Tinian. Here's another that is related to that gasoline prices that he mentioned. This year with the new budget proposal from Biden, there's going to be the military retirees, disabled veterans, and other ranking military personnel. They will get the largest pay raises in history. But guess what? Those increases will be eaten up by inflation. Okay, so it's gonna be seen. Even if they receive those increases in their paychecks, it's gonna be eaten up by inflation. We saw that in the increase in gasoline prices, the cost of food, the cost of electricity. But let me get our former congressman on the line here. Former Congressman Andrew Salas, calling, I guess, from Guam. Drew, welcome to Mariana Sagupa live coverage, special election here.
Thank you, man. Glenn, good evening.
Good evening, Loki Parahogulay, brother.
Hey, I was listening to the conversation earlier, man, and I just wanted to, if you may permit me, man, I just wanted to at least participate in the discussion.
Yes, please. You're welcome. We have Ambrose, our analyst, right on the.
Ambrose. Hello,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted
Your
to say,
voice. Yeah.
say, man, that in the past we have done, the legislatures have done a little bit of an injustice to our people, because when that law, the immigration law, was in effect, we had amended it many times to appease the private sector. The private sectors will make argument like, I cannot train these guys for 2 years, get them out to U.S. standards, then have to ship them home and then recruit another worker, train them again, and send them home. But the whole intent of that law, Glenn and Mr. Ambrose, was to make sure that our people will get trained and take over those positions. What had happened was, when we started amending those laws, our people were not being trained. And the outsiders continue to keep those jobs for as long as 10, 20, 30 years. Now, what happened is a lot of things happened because of us trying to appease the private sector. Number one is, later on, we started trying to invest money on NMIT. And we just left the law alone. We won't be needing to put funds into NMIT, because all of our workers on the island, if we left the immigration law alone, all of our people will be trained on all the different private sector jobs. And because we amended it to appease the private sector, our people didn't get trained. So our objective and our priority to hire local people went down the drain. So I think that all of our leaders and our future leaders need to take a look at this, because we can talk about it, but when the private sector calls up the Speaker of the House and says, hey, man, we need to amend this law, the senators and the Congress will do everything in their power to amend it. And again, our locals are forgotten. So I hope that the Democrat Party, when they come into force, I hope that they take a look at this, because many of our people have gone to the mainland and got an education and don't want to return, because why? The guesswork, the private sectors, they basically control how much workers we're getting in now because of all the amendments that was given to them. And they also control the minimum wage. Every time we try to raise them, that's how come we lost control of the minimum wage, because every time we try to raise it, a sunset condition was put in there, they changed it. And that's how we got in trouble with the feds, and they took over control of minimum wage, because we're not able. We have shown time and time again that we are not able to do what we say we have to do. So I hope that these young Democrats that are coming into office, I hope that they take everything to heart, learn from what the Republicans did, and do the complete opposite. If we want to help our people, we have to empower our people, like giving them the most basic things in life, like getting a job. But how can you give them jobs when you continue to change the laws that favor our guest workers instead of our local people? So, we've made so many mistakes, and those mistakes can be corrected. So let's use this time to put in good people that are willing to stand up and do the right thing. Thank you, Glenn.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Andrew Salas, and take care of yourself. Be safe in Guam, brother.
Brother, thank you very much, man.
Está, si Zeus Mose. Talo si Luta si Andrew Salas. No, gagi ko rason niya lopi gitaw-taw tayo ni tanak na no mananaya kontribusyon ideo siya na siya mas lumaksi mo na i-gubit namin tota dan tay mano muna nagpatasoda itsalan linaala gini komplikaw na hinanaon ekonomiya na ita susesidi pa go no talo para ato siya pa go manhahalom gi special election coverage gagi upago gi Pedro P. Tenorio Multi-Purpose Center i-coverage special election para precinct 3 para ato siya tigumov comprendi mababay na bumakantes na siya ni mo ana dingwit si Congressman Ivan Blanco Kasi sti dos na Flores, si Corina dan si Grace, no guahilig niya neck to neck, law pa mo na pupoy niya, siyempre ta tungo hansig ini para no sinili edzo na siza. Stiga si Ambrose Bennett Loki na nalilisa dididi. Half-esti kumikilig niya, what does it mean? Para gubernamento gini, para membro ni kongreso, para half patsutsugi di legislatura. So again, no Ambrose, and thank you too for your insight. And that was former Congressman Andrew Salas. You met him, right? You
Yeah.
know him?
Well, I worked with him. I tried to help him get reelected, but he hit on something that I wanted to touch on because it seems this workforce transition thing that I'm pushing with a public service apprenticeship program. I'll give you one example. CAC has to get people from the Philippines to fix our generators. And over 30, 40 years, we never trained one local person to fix our generators. It is those kind of things that we need to correct in our workforce. We can have a young man coming out of high school, going to school for maybe 1 year or 2 years, coming back, and he can totally overhaul our generators. There's no. That's why we have a scholarship program. And see, we need to tie the scholarship program and all this training into a one systemic effort so that we can control all the variables. And that's what I'm going to be talking about when I do the work. Okay.
We just have an update that we should be out of this place by 10:30. So everything will be counted by 10:30. So that was the update. It looks like they're just putting together. They're counting already. Okay, they're counting today's ballot. That's an update from the vice chair, the Democratic Party.
All right.
So thank you, Danny, for that. We haven't seen Siglena from the GOP. She's down there.
Okay.
But we're giving both camps an opportunity to participate
Amen.
in our show. So those who are listening, regardless of your political affiliation, we're presenting it as is, as how we see it, what is taking place in our Commonwealth, including this special election, and what does it mean. That's exactly what Ambrose was. I asked him, and that's how he responded. What does it mean if Grace takes over and wins the GOP? What does it mean if Corina wins? And on the bigger picture, what does it mean to get us out of this? Some people call it hellhole. But what does it mean to get us out of this if the federal dollars, the ARPA funds dries up? So, we're looking at that longer picture, longer term, longer vision. And Ambrose, that's exactly my next topic with you, maybe next Saturday. How are we gonna get this, get ourselves out of this once this federal dollars completely dries up?
Well, one of the things about moving forward is you have to take a step. And one of the things that we're not seeing is our government not taking a step. I mentioned earlier that we know those funds are going to run out. So why aren't they trying to lease the Marianas Resort and bring in that revenue and other things that they're stalling around with IPI as far as taking them to court and finalizing this? They act like they're going to try to save IPI when IPI is dead, as far as I'm concerned, from what I see, because their main tourists were coming from China. The Chinese government is not letting Chinese come here to gamble. and they made it clear. So we're maybe beating a dead horse, trying to get IPI to do things. So politics is the key here, and that's why a lot of people should be paying attention to this election. And I'm pretty sure they may even set a record in voting in that precinct in this election by being a separate election just for that precinct. Hopefully, they will set a new record for voting, because that's what we need, a bigger voter turnout. People have been winning elections here with a 66% voter turnout, and we need to push it to 80%. Then we will start seeing change.
Okay, great. The update again for those who's just joining us this evening on this special election coverage. We're told that we should be out of here by 10:30. That's about an hour from now. So the election will be the election result will be known in just an hour. And what do you call this? We will know who's going to represent the sixth seat, because there's 5 or 6 seats in precinct 3. So who's
Right.
going to represent that last seat? Okay. Okay, I'm getting a flack on your cigarette there. Okay, just put that aside there. Okay, so we don't have a flag on our broadcast. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
okay, so that's where we are this evening. We're just about an hour away, Ambrose, and aren't you excited with this special election?
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what the trend is going to be, because like I was saying earlier, this election is going to set a trend that will carry over into the next election. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are ready to vote for the Democrats, and all the Democrats got to do is just do what they've been doing and just have the candidates ready. I was really, while we were speaking on candidates, I was really surprised to see one of the Republican candidates get reelected. I don't want to call names, but this Republican did the most damage to us. He really wrote the bill that gave IPI our community chest funds to hold, allowing the governor to manipulate that, our community chest funds. Why would one of our legislatures want the governor to give IPI our money to hold? And that's what I'm still upset about.
Okay, excuse me. I'm having a dry throat here. I'm gonna get my water. But anyway, again, for those interested in joining myself and Ambrose, you can call in to 287-4536 right on your screen there to participate in today's analysis on the special election for Precinct 3. So call and if you want to take part in this special election.
And let me just say that this it's not so much that I'm against Republicans, but I am against what the Republicans have been doing, because I really consider myself an activist for the people of the CNMI. I hate to see it as bad as it is, but the truth is what it is. And for us to try and put sugar coating on it and try to make it seem nice is an injustice to what has happened and to what we need to be doing.
Okay. Fair. That's fair. That's a fair statement, Ambrose.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Joe mentioned about the increase in fuel, increase in electricity, and the whole 9 yards of energy costs. It's really putting a strain in our families here in the CNMI, especially those who are uh, not working full time.
That's
That sen- does that sentiment resonate with this new with the special election in terms of voting who to vote?
no. It doesn't matter who they elect. That's not going to affect our prices. Our prices is driven
No,
by the
no.
market.
I'm talking about those people who are suffering. Uh, do they? Does this election make an impact in their decision as to who to vote? Because they're suffering economically.
In the long term,
Okay.
in the long term, it will. But that's why I'm saying this is a prerequisite to the general election, which is really the election that will have direct impact on the quality of life in the CNMI. And that's the question you're trying to ask me. This election won't change the quality of life in the CNMI. But if the Democrat, because you got to remember the buck stops at the governor's office, and if the governor doesn't sign the bills, and there's enough Republicans to not be able to veto the governor's bill, then we're still going to be right back where we were, which is why I've been saying we need a majority of Democrats in the House, in the Senate, and in the governor's office if the people truly want change, because we can't want half change or part of change. My mother used to tell me sometimes when I was trying to tell a little fib and get away with something, she would say, a half truth is a whole lie. And we've been living a half truth, which is a whole lie. And now we see it.
Okay. So even if it's half truth, it's not.
It's a whole lie.
All right. Okay. So let me pan over to the election commission again. They are still there, uh, putting in the ballot inside the box right there. See that? Okay. So they're securing it, and then when they're ready, they're gonna be counting. Again, the update is maybe in less than an hour. We should
Right.
be out here. So where we are.
And what we can do is this should prepare us for the general election. We can do an exit poll, uh, ask the parties to assist us with an exit poll, and then we'll have a better idea about what to anticipate with the county. I think that would be great for the general election if we can work with the party to work with the Drupa show, uh, and they probably will have the regular news there. So it'd be great to have the exit polls because now we're just guessing. I'm taking a break.
Okay. We apologize for
I'm still
the.
here. I'm still here. I'm going to say something.
We apologize for losing connection. I think we are restored now. Ambrose, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm smoke break.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, all right. We momentarily lost our connection here.
Yeah, I saw.
All right.
I saw.
So,
I saw.
okay. Okay. So we're still here, Ambrose, and for those watching, we apologize. Dispensa, por favor. Sa gonna be na i-fiction. Ikunik parado siya man ikungok. Man ihita gini di programata. Sa destin eleksyon. Si Vice Chair. Good evening. Apa no? Está. Mau sinya Paulo este. Okay, sige, update está na YouTube ko. Siyempre ma-anunsya. Yun Democratic Party di si Luta. Tayo siglena gini Republican law. Tanaw luma gini kung matud di si Luta. Okay, kung sa para tudo samson na maniga gini special election este. Ita nauupan huzong antes di matugi gigaseta muna esti marena sa gupa siyempre umudong napulang nus i-resutton esti na special na eleksyon ginigi precinct 3 kasi nigi na manggaygi pago basta sige watu grupon board sige agwi si Lonnie di Hagata Lonnie banglo niya giniluta yan ang matatasong diga si Mr. Sablan representa Island sa Ipan diga di ginintinian lokwe esta maatan na siya malagnusuzong irisutto matutufong ibaloto binin edzi baloton eza lignano matufong kanaya este Ambrose they're getting ready to count now so
All right.
share the excitement with everybody watching in your home with you here
Tonight is bingo night, and they're having my wife is attending the neighbor's bingo game. I'm all alone. But I did text them to let them know about the show, so they're probably listening.
okay all right so yeah it wouldn't take long I think they finished already counting it's just a matter of
Announcing it, I know.
missing it yes so it's gonna be one lump here if you're a candidate waiting for the result of the election you're gonna be almost peeing now you know what I'm saying Ambrose
Yeah,
yeah
you got to be anticipating.
yeah you're anticipating and you need to be next to the bathroom very close to the bathroom.
You think so?
Yes, I had my shared experience myself. So, you know, the waiting period is the most painful one. Losing the election, don't worry about that because that's the name of the game. Someone's gonna win, and someone is gonna, suffer the consequences. But
Well,
in in Chamorro, Guahaji Mangana, tawag mapipili.
okay.
Manggana no mafababaw. Ino timapili to. Dangin ti posible pos mafababa. So sa maufresi na buno mo fresi pos estin na kana mini gua sempe kana tatki sempe.
Pisagod.
Yeah.
Pos ini no.
Pisagod.
I heard Danny. I heard Danny.
This is the election. What do you call this? The painful period, right? Now
Yeah.
they finish. It's just a matter of putting the result out. Pues zangin unanang guys din zangin mamarado gini. Okay, sige, we're gonna fan. There's gonna be an announcement right now.
Yeah. It ain't gonna-
Let me get you out here for a sec here, and get. I don't know if I can get closer.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get closer, but hopefully we can hear it.
Well, Danny can tell us.
Yeah, I'm all the way in the back here because of
Yeah.
the outlet. I need the power
Yeah.
outlet. I lost
Yeah.
the connection, but the announcement will be forthcoming. I think right there is right there. Okay.
Okay.
Let's,
Here we go.
okay. Let's.
Oh, yeah.
Let me put you on mute first.
Good evening, everyone. The commissioners are done tabulating. These are the unofficial results for the 2021 special election. For absentee, we have Rena Lorraine Magofian, Democrat, 20. Grace Sablan, Bayanae, 5. Early voting. Karina Lorraine Magofian, Democrat. San Jose, Precinct 3A, 170. Grace Sablan, Bayanae, 3A, 157. Early voting for Precinct 3B, Karina Lorraine Magofian, Democrat, 477. Early voting, Precinct 3B, Grace Sablan, Bayanae, 371. Election Day, Precinct 3A, Karina Lorraine Magofian, 162. Precinct 3A, Grace Sablan, Bayanae, 92. Election Day, Precinct 3B, Karina L. Magofian, 388. Precinct 3B, Grace Sablan, Bayanae, 183. Grand total for Karina L. Magofian, 1,217. For Grace Sablan, Bayanae, grand total 808. This is again the unofficial results for the 2021 special election.
All right. Pues sige, resulto si Corina unofficial 1,217. Si Grace 808. 808. 08. So nige pago, it looks like Karina got it. Unofficial I think. Lo nige i sutto 1,217. Si Karina, si Grace 808. Okay, so there you have it, folks. Zeus Masi and Ambrose. Any reaction? Any reaction, Ambrose?
Yeah, give me a second right here. I'm doing the numbers right now because I'm trying to get the statistics. And that was a total of 3,000. How many votes? Total voters there was 3,000. How many?
3,600.
3,600.
Yeah. So it looks like 2,000 only 2,000 voted. 2,020 voted.
Okay. Okay, so 2020. Wait a minute. One second.
All right, we're gonna lose you in just a minute. Our broadcast will end soon.
Okay. Wait a minute. Divided. You said 3,600.
Yes.
Okay, that was about 56% of the voters there. So a little over half the voters, like I was telling you earlier, we need to push those numbers up higher, because if we would have like 80%, it would have been a real landslide for Miss Karina. Congratulations to her. I want to say that a well-deserved person. And congratulate. I'm sorry to Miss Grace, but the people have spoken, and we can probably look for this trend to continue. And to be on the safe side, we need to push this numbers up, because this is only 56%, if I did my math correct.
Yes. Okay. So there you have it. We have a caller here. Yes. Yeah. Esta unofficial si Karina 1,217. Si Grace 808. Okay, so thank you for calling, and we're gonna be losing Ambrose in a few minutes here.
All right.
Seconds. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ambrose, and we'll see you next Saturday.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm texting the news now, spreading the news now.
All right. Okay, si Zeus Masi Italo, nige ultimo mo binigi programata. Special election coverage, Wahoo Siglen H. Mango niya. Inagwa sa nafamol exampas para turudo samjo. Lo, nige ultimo mo. Estamos nazan. Talo, ultimo mo si Karina unofficial 1,217. Si Grace 808. Congratulations para si Karina. Si Zeus Masi Italo. Adios. Está otro sábado.